Can you understand me?
Hello everyone, Kier here, and welcome to the InfiNOT podcast. I'm focused on the casual nature of the game, and each week I discuss the new patch, the new card, and my feelings on the game. Let's hop into it. So, as you may notice, the podcast has changed. We no longer have Daka with us. He's moved on to greener pastures, and I salute him for making it as far as he did with Minister Negative decks. That is an achievement unto itself. But I'm still here, and I've had a recent relapse into the game. I'm super excited to talk about it. But these new episodes are going to be probably around 25 minutes. It's just going to be me yapping about the game, and if you're interested in that, then please stick around. As always, if you want to leave this a like on YouTube, or if you're on a podcast, please rate it. It helps me a lot. And without further ado, let's get into it. So this week, there is not an OTA, and considering our last update is in December, I probably have a lot to talk about, but I'm going to slowly drip feed my thoughts on the game. For right now, we're going to be focusing on the two newest cards since they dropped at the same time, that being Cassandra Nova and Copycat. I'm going to talk about Deadpool's Diner, and yeah, we're going to go over that kind of stuff. So first things first, when the new patch dropped, I really wanted to hop into Deadpool's Diner, and the first thing that happened to me, as I'm sure the same thing happened to a lot of you, is when you hop in, you do your first game, and if you lose that first game, you just have to wait. They only give you a certain amount of bubs to start, and once you lose those bubs, they do that mobile game thing where you don't have enough energy to continue, and I'm not going to lie, that's kind of disappointing to see. It's not my favorite thing that they've ever done. I would much prefer if they kept that kind of stuff away from Marvel Snap, but what can you do, right? So right now, I believe I'm near, I think I made it to the pizza slice in the diner. I somewhere near there, or maybe the level above. And I got some pretty good rewards. I will say the rewards track is pretty excellent. The red mat is extremely satisfying. I put that on a couple of my favorite cards like Daredevil. It looks so good on Daredevil. I have that variant where the rain is falling on top of him. Looks incredible. But yeah, so the deck that I was using is the same deck that I've been using in Conquest for a while now. It's my Good Soup deck. It has just a bunch of good cards in it, and into Arishem right now, that's okay. Arishem is just so strong. I should probably be playing that card, but I'm such a meta hipster, I don't know if I can commit. The deck that I'm using has Echo, Snowguard, Hydra Bob, Daredevil, Jeff, Quake, Red Guardian, Gladiator, Jessica Jones, Gamora, Vision, and Eliath. And it's pretty successful into a lot of lists, although, again, Arishem is just so hard to beat, because if they get Loki especially, they're just playing my cards at a cheaper rate, and then, of course, some random stuff can happen that allows them to get an edge. They're running a lot of tech cards, so it can be tough. But I will say I love this deck. It feels very consistent to me. It's right up my alley. It has a couple of outs, but it also has some of my favorite cards, like Jessica Jones and Gamora, and the Daredevil really helps with the Vision plays and all that kind of stuff. It's really excellent. But yeah, so Deadpool's Diner, not a huge hit for me, but I could certainly see the appeal. I hope in the future, when they're doing this kind of stuff, they consider focusing more on spicing up the gameplay itself. I know it's sort of like a sacred thing in Marvel Snap. We're all here for the gameplay. It's very good, but I don't think that the double snapping really makes me feel happier when I win. It just sort of makes me feel worse when I lose, which maybe I'm just a sore loser, but I would hope that maybe some of you can relate. Please let me know if that's the case. And speaking of, if you want to share your opinions with me, please do. I'd be happy to hear them. This new thing that I'm trying, we're going to see where it goes. I'm going to keep doing it. I want to keep talking about this game, and I'm excited to share my thoughts as we're going forward. I am especially excited for the draft mode that they announced, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so moving on, we're going to talk about the two new cards that came out. So Cassandra Nova was just released. I have not unlocked her yet, so I'm going off of the opinions of the couple of streamers that I watch. She seems pretty good. I mean, especially given the fact that you can combo her with an Absorbing Man or a Grandmaster, just really stellar. In the games that I've seen her, she's not really ever less than a 3/5, and at that point, you're just really happy with a card like that, because any cards that they play also increase her value, right? She's not just stealing 1 power from each card in your opponent's deck onto herself, she's also stealing it away from the card, so they're going to have 1 less power every time they play it. You get the idea. I would be interested, like, what's interesting is the paradigm that since you're incentivized to unlock her from Deadpool's Diner, it's kind of ironic that I'm fighting a bunch of Arishem players to get the card that helps against Arishem. It's sort of counterintuitive in that way, and I'm sure they didn't plan it like that, but still, it's a pain point. I especially at like the level that she's at. I know some people got her in a day, but I'm not one of those people. But yeah, she's good. I don't know if I'd particularly run her in the list that I like. I just prefer Gladiator. I think there's a lot of use cases for that card, but I don't know. Maybe she'll impress me and I'll change my mind. But a card that I definitely having fun experimenting with is Copycat. I've been putting her in the same list that I've been putting Gladiator in and swapping them out, and they feel good for different reasons. Like, with Copycat, you do get the advantage of information. Since she steals the text too, if they ever do draw into that part of their deck, they're going to be missing that card. It's just like, on the whole, oftentimes my opponent's strategy is doing something that, like, I'm okay with, but I'm not over the moon about. In case I need to say, Copycat is a 3/5. When you draw this, steal the text from the bottom card of your opponent's deck. I think it's pretty good. I do enjoy the card a lot. I don't know if she's going to be a mainstay in the decks that I play the most. That 3/8 on Gladiator just seems so good. I'll see. I'll keep experimenting with it. I will say, I did get an Ultron once, and that felt amazing because there was a Sanctum on the board, and having a 3/5 Ultron that I could also play Red Guardian with to shut down their Blue Marvel was just like chef's kiss. That's beautiful. I think this card is going to see a lot of play too. It's just, I think a couple of other people have pointed this out. There's not like a synergistic deck that she can fit in other than Silver Surfer, but that deck is running 1 million cards anyway. So like, I think she fits in good stuff decks, like the kind of stuff that I like to run, but I don't know if you want to run her with other cards like Leech or Zero. That doesn't make any sense. She just sort of like, she's in the middle ground. And I think more people would want to play Nocturne over her in like the very standard, I need a 3. But I don't know. I think there's arguments, especially in like modes like Conquest, where having her could prove to be very, very useful. And yeah, I think that's about it for the new cards, what I think about them. I suppose since it's been a hot minute, I can sort of talk about my experience and what's been going on with me and Marvel Snap. So, to sort of explain what happened after December, I lost a lot of passion with the game. I basically did a couple of dailies every week just to keep up with the currency. I got a couple of key cards, but I'm missing a lot right now, and I'm still trying to recuperate that. Thankfully, the spotlight caches for the next upcoming weeks are very good for the specific cards that I need. While I'm looking that up, I'll say it's interesting to me how even being low engagement like I was still puts me at such a disadvantage. In comparison to the other players near my collection level. It's pretty incredible. The cards that I thought that I would really enjoy, I didn't get because I didn't have the resources, right? I wasn't that involved with the game. It's just fascinating. But to round up what I was saying, so this week, in the Spotlight caches, there was Copycat, Coal Obsidian, and Thanos. I got Copycat and Coal Obsidian. Very happy about that. Next week is Proxima Midnight and Hope Summers. I don't have either of those cards, so I'll be very happy to get that when July 30th rolls around. And then Blob is in the August 6th cache, which is amazing. And then Pixie is in the August 13th cache, which I don't have. Like all of that is just like so excellent. And then August 27th, Cannonball and Emperor Hulkling. I'm excited about those. I just have a lot of saving up to do, is what I'm learning. Because I want to do all of these cards. I want to play with them. But it's going to be a grind. I'm going to have to play a lot of Conquest, and I'm grinding out the Deadpool's Diner right now. And I'm upgrading cards. I'm trying to get there. Right now, I think I'm at 6 caches. And I got pretty lucky. I only had to use 3 caches this week to get Cole and Copycat. I already had Thanos, so I wasn't like over the moon about it. But yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool. I do want to grind for Cassandra, but it's tough. I mean, it's like 15 million bubs, and things increase exponentially. So like at a certain point, it'll be easier. I understand that, but I'm impatient, man, and that mode definitely rewards patience. So yeah, I think to sort of round out my thoughts on coming back to the game, I think that the game still has a lot of problems they need to hammer out, but Erisham was a slam dunk in terms of fun. I think the new mode is a step in the right direction with the rewards that it's offering. I think the fact that they announced a draft mode is very good. I'm on the fence a bit when it comes to the monetization choices that they're making. We'll see. I know leagues and alliances are coming soon, which I'm excited to participate in. And that'll transition me to the Snap Judgments League. If you're not aware, the podcast Snap Judgments, they have been doing this thing for a lot longer than me. And they've been like real troopers, especially Pulse Glazer, in making content nearly every day. They do an amazing job. And they also are the ones that are supporting the grassroots tournaments that are going on right now in the Snap Judgments League. If you are interested, they have a Patreon that you can sign up for $1 a month, and you can enter as many tournaments as you like. They have, of course, the main Snap Judgments League. Right now, they're in Season 3, but they also have things like King of the Hill events and other mini tournaments that happen thanks to Gunny T, who is an amazing guy. Really stellar at what he does. So if you're at all interested, like me, and being able to play with people, talk to them, talk about decks, then that is definitely the place to go. That's where my enjoyment of the game is happening right now. It's certainly not happening on ladder, and Conquest is hit and miss for me. So yeah, it's been incredible. Season 2 of the Snap Judgments League, I got second in my pod, which I'll have to look at the bracket, but I think that's out of 16 people. 26, 28, so 30. Jeez Louise. A lot more than I remembered. So out of 30 players, I got second. And in the finals, I lost to Terry Gibson, who had an extremely good deck into what I was playing at the time, which was a Destroyer deck that I was having fun with. I have to say, too, that Destroyer list has made me appreciate Titania so much. And now I'm running Hydra Bob in my lists, and I'm just like, I feel like my brain has expanded. I love these big 1-drops. They've quickly become my favorite in the game. But yeah, I did pretty well. I got a total of 15 match points, and I had a 75% game win percentage, and my opponents had a 50% win rate against me. Pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I also got to meet a lot of cool people in that tournament. I got to play against Lauren Whatevs, very smart person in the Marvel Snap community. She does a lot of statistics. My second round, I got a bye because the person, we had an odd number of people, so I got lucky in that regard. But round 3, I beat Mr. Tyler Jones. Round 4, I beat Jacob Jones. And then in the top 8, I beat Harry. And then in the top 4, I beat Docty, and that was just like a heart. I'm pretty sure Docty has it recorded, but what's funny is you can send your recordings in for guest gaming. It's guest gaming to review, and Docty recorded it and sent it. But that specific week, It's Guest Gaming didn't post a video about it, and I was like, oh shucks, that was such a good match. I'll probably have to ask Docty for that footage. I'd love to post it somewhere. I was really proud of that. And then, of course, in the finals against Terry, really good match. I think he was a stellar player. He read my mind. It was really good. But yeah, so Season 2 was a blast for me, and talking to people and seeing what decks they were playing, and having Gutty T step in. He was an absolute Giga Chad. He gave me and another player some extra time. It was like midnight on Sunday, and we were way overstepping, but he was very kind. He let us finish our match. Really awesome place. So all that to say, if you are interested in some grassroots tournaments, that is definitely the place to go. I believe that's all I have to yap about this week. Since we don't have an OTA, I think they mentioned they're changing their plans to make it so that it is the second and fourth Thursday of every month that they're doing an OTA change. Which is odd, but I understand it from that perspective. Of course, I already talked about Deadpool's Diner, and I think that'll round it out for today's episode. Again, if you're at all interested in hearing me yap more, you can always do me a quick favor and follow or rate the podcast. It does wonders for me. And I'm sure next week I'll definitely have more to talk about. But thanks for listening. And if there's one thing you can remember, it's that I'm InfiNOT.